we've been watching throughout today. I do appreciate you all coming along. This is our grand finals, and as you can see, we are now going live into our grand finals. This is a best of 5 series, if I am not mistaken, which I could very well be quite mistaken, as it has happened to me a couple of times today. So I'll just quickly check that up on you for all you. It is a best of 5, so I am not wrong this time. We got the French from Mixu up against 3DB on the Roost, and we are in game, my friends. So welcome aboard to the grand finals of this weekly tournament. Over here, starting on the blue side, will be the Roost player of 3DB. The opponent will be Mixu. He will be picking up your French for the evening. Let's get some sound in as well. Now we've got some sound on board. Let's jump to the full view and let's have a little look at how this map has spawned. So, at least for 3DB, he's got a nice close wood line. He's going to be throwing down a hunting cabin. So for those of you that don't know, hunting cabins allow passive gold generation per tree that is nearby. So this, oops, I have, oh no, I've got it set up so you can't see the time. So you can see that he will start earning passive income per tick, which gets faster as his economy gets better from the passive bonus he gets from killing animals. Little words, but basically the Roost gets gold from killing animals and they get increased rates at income for their hunting cabin and also the gathering rates for their villages. You can see that's why there's a little bit of a fight going on. Mixu, the French player, is trying to deny that assault from the Rust, trying to get that extra gold. So it's something to keep an eye on. This passive gold will help get him up to age 2 and possibly age 3 based upon where he's going to be dictating his villages. Over on your opponent's side, because you have that French player, French is going to try and deny these gold. The wolf is worth 25 gold for that Roost player, as you can see right there, as the wolf goes on down right in time. And he's going to try to go around and find those kills. 3DB, however, has now found himself some tasty deers, which are 10 gold per. And he's doing a little stutter step. What the stutter step means is he can cancel his animation of the reload and then shoot faster and faster. That's probably the fastest attack rate you'll see in this game, except for the Streltsy from the Rus, which we might see later on based on where we go into this match, and they're going to walk on into each other. So B, still trying to do whatever he can to get as much gold income on the line. He's got 315, so he's doing quite well here. He's getting closer and closer to being able to make sure he can secure his tier 3. And as you can see, the tier 3 allows that 15% food harvest rate. Now, we've spoken enough about what's going on this early game and with that hunts going around. Let's have a little look at our map generation. So the berries for Mixu is a little bit exposed, but he's up against a Roost player and he's the French. So this won't matter too much because you'll be seeing that the French player will be the one wanting to put the aggression on, and that should open up his map a little bit more. He's also now quickly rotating over to get some stone. This is before he has enough to throw down the School of Cavalry, which is very interesting. Actually, he does have enough. My apologies. So he's going to be going for a very fast second TC, which means we might not see as much aggression as we usually suspect. So now, with that School of Cavalry, it's now down on its way, and the TC is going to be coming up soon. Over on that Roost player's side, we're going to be starting to see that it's taking a little bit longer to get towards that second landmark. He needs a little bit more food. He's about to be housing supplies. So I think because B has been more focused on working on the food around the map, he's been a little bit behind in trying to get some of his economy up and running. But as I say that, he's picked up his wheelbarrow tech. This is going to allow his villagers to operate a little bit faster and reduce the idle time because they spend more time gathering those resources, as now he's going to be picking up that golden gate. So with this, we only have 2 villages, and this kind of indicates Mixu's laid back approach to this match. He is very happy to start working towards picking up the resources required for that second TC and going to TC boom French. And if that is not spotted out by our friend B, which he's having a little look at the moment. He's got so many scouts on board. He's also got professional scouts that should be coming online within the next minute and a half. And he can see this. He sees only 2 villages. He also sees that villages on stone. This gives him the entire capability to understand that, hey, if this is going to happen, we need to deal with you. We need to kind of make sure that we put some early game aggression on you. Or this says you need to go for your own stone and build up your own town centers to keep up with the French boom. But because all the scouts are here disrupting this a little bit, Mixu's having a little bit of a hard time to respond to this. He knows that these scouts don't do too much damage, so he can continue holding them here, and he's just holding them at bay, continually putting pressure on until more scouts come across. So this is going to delay that town center that Mixu wanted to kind of push and approach upon. But because of that micro, you can see B, he's kind of forgotten about the rest of his base here. He's got so much idle going on because he's doing so much micro at the rest of his opponent's location. So in the end, B almost comes off second best thanks to the idle of his own villages. And now the School of Cavalry is online. He does have enough to start going for lances if he wants to, and he might go for it to try and stop the pain that is the aggression that is coming to approach him from B. So with Mixu, he's got a lot of villagers currently gathering at his wood line at the moment. He's going to switch on over because he did get enough now wood to throw down that second TC. This second TC is going to give him that booming response. And how has B decided to respond to this? He sees all of this going on. There's some unfortunate villagers that aren't doing anything. And what's he going to do? He goes for a town center of his own. And that is thanks to the Golden Gate. For those of you that don't know, the Golden Gate generates supplies over time. When these supplies are available, you can now make very favorable trades. And basically that means you pay either 100 gold for 150 of a resource, or you pay 100 resource for 150 gold. And what the Rus are allowed to do is use a couple of that to be able to purchase just enough to build their second TC. And that second TC will go down to help them with their economy. And so he's going to be keeping up to date with his opponent's economy at the moment, thanks to that second TC. But remember, the French have an increased bonus to villager production. I think in age 2 it is 10%, age 3 is 15%, and then age 4 is 20% production to those villagers. So even though he's equalizing in terms of output of villages, he's going to be a little bit behind in terms of the actual production rate. Now it's a little bit surprising that we aren't seeing many cavalry coming out. We do have one Royal Knight being prepared, but these scouts are still being a little bit of a pain from B. And the good thing about that is B is still continuing to scout across the map. He understands that these villages are coming out, and he's going to see that mill go down at the last second. So that will give him the knowledge that Mixu is trying to take some position on the map and trying to get this early game hunt. I mean, the scouts are back on in, and Mixu is still trying to fight this, but luckily the Lancer is here, and it's going to start chasing these scouts into the forest. But he has such poor vision in the forest, he can't see anything, and the scouts are just going to sneak on away and hold off. You can see that B, that additional range, because scouts can see better. He sees one knight. He sees the knight goes off to the side. He's going to come on in. He's thinking about it, but that lancer's coming on in. He avoids losing that one scout. So good little micro there, keeping his scouts alive a little bit longer, as now he's going to keep an eye on where this scout is off onto the rest of his base. So if you are just tuning in on now, this is a best of 5 series for the grand finals. We have B up against Mixu. They've been playing all morning. We are now at hour 4.5 for our tournament this morning. So these players have been playing non-stop, showing us the best that they can. And, well, the scouts, they decided to take on that poor lonely scout of Mixu, cleaning it up, which now gives the vision advantage over to B. Mixu doesn't know. Some scouts are about to raid him very shortly. And here we go. The scouts have retreated out of the line, but he quickly saw those knights and decided he's not going to take that. A little bit more worth it to keep these scouts alive, keep the vision game healthy, And that kind of forced Mixu. He had to build another scout. Especially when you're standing at these forests. You need to be able to know when your opponent's attacking you. And here we go. The knight's instantly going to start to fight. He's going to try and steal some of this food. Trying to cancel this hunt that's going on. He's trying to find it. They've got all the food. He just tries to yoink the food out of their face. There we go. The villagers are disappointed. And they are on the run. And they're going to get back to safety with all that additional food. So this forward position from Mixu is not going to be as useful anymore with those professional scouts doing an absolutely wonderful job. It could be advanced scouts. Let's have a quick look. So it is professional scouts because that is the one that allows them to pick up the food, I believe. But now there's a little bit of a raid going on from some of these knights. These knights are probably a little bit more afraid of this than what they should be because they can sit underneath that tower for quite a few shots and not all those villagers are going to be able to securely hide away in that fortified outpost. And now let's have a little look at the income at the moment. Mixu has a huge income in food. He has dedicated a lot more villagers to the food income because it looks like he's trying to transition to getting some military online as well as age up to his next age. And he's going for the guild hall. So he's going for the little bit of an economic boon that the guild hall can present to you, especially if you're not punished and the longer the match goes on. 3DB, well, he's still hunting around the map with scouts, trying to get as much food as he can online to try and help out. These two horsemen, or these early knights, apologies, are going to be looking at trying to back into the back of Mixu's base. If he can find himself a few villagers over there, he may be able to cause Mixu to be even more defensive than what he's currently playing. Because normally, two scouts should be up in your opponent's face. If we have a look at the vision he can currently see, he's about to hit that age 3. He's got scouts trying to have a look to see if he can find any of his opponents looming around the map, trying to sneak any additional gold or any forward positions that they shouldn't earn. And with that, our Rus player has now hit tier 3. That's right, that is 15% food waste, and his hunting cabins, which we spoke at the start, generate gold even faster. So Mixu has now hit level 3. What is his aim here for the French? He could go for the route where he's just going to try to out-eco his opponent. And we might see a little bit of a slow match as both players try to farm on up. Or we might see some aggression coming out from Siege since he is in age 3 with his opponent, still making his way up to age 3 at the moment. He even pulled off 10 units to pick up his Abbey of the Trinity because he needs to make sure he gets to the age 3 as quick as his opponent to keep up to scratch, especially with the upgrades. So we have a little look at the upgrades. Do we have any blacksmith available? We've got one coming up very shortly. And he's going for the archery range combination. So this indicates he's going for the ranged cavalry, or his calv archers, I believe they're called. Horse archers. And then with the blacksmith, he'll most likely pick up that 1 point in ranged attack so that those can be more deadly on raids, especially when villagers, unfortunately, are not doing too much for Mixu. I think he's got distracted elsewhere and kind of forgot about some of his units. And you can kind of see that it's kind of hit his income per minute quite heavily that he has forgot about those villagers off to the side. But now we're going to see that Mixu is even going for his archers at the moment. Will we see the arbs? Or will we be seeing kind of combination of archer play with what seems to be spearmen to try and back them up to deal with the horse archers or lance, the knights the Rus could pull out? So Scout, he's going to see all this. He's got all the vision. He sees the absolutely huge amount of archery ranges that are coming into place. He sees all 5 of those. That will indicate straight away how much of an input that B is going to put towards these cavalry archers. And well, Mixu's already a little bit afraid that the raiding that is going to be going on, but how will he respond? He's going to respond by throwing down a keep at the front of the base, but that, it really doesn't do much. You can see there's this huge opening off to the eastern side of the base, and if they really wanted to, come up towards the northern side of the base to deal with that aggression. This keep, I don't think, is where you want it. It is near all your unit producing facilities, which means your units can pop out and try and defend. You really need it against weaker parts of your map. But we will see how well B can exploit the opening in Mixu's lineup. And he can now see the horse archers are coming on in. The keep's going to push them away. And unfortunately for B, he chose the wrong direction to attack. And he's going to lose himself 2 archers for absolutely no gain. But he will advance to where we spoke about. But it's going to get spotted out. We have a monk. Actually, will the monk spot this out? He's walking. Oh no. There's some cavalry that has snuck in through this wall. Will they be able to do any damage though? I don't think these scouts can really deal with these. The monk is going to get crunched under the weight of those lances as they break and find themselves a few kills. And I'm not too sure what the decision is of these scouts to kill this and not the villagers. But now, the monks from 3DB is going to be able to pick up the relic for himself and start capturing some of these sites. And here we go. The Royal Knights have had enough of these shenanigans. They're even going to steal some of the food again. B, robbing Mixu of all his hunts, not allowing him a single shred of food. But these knights, they're making their way. They're chasing it down. These lances are ready to pounce. And you can see it. They break. Once they're in that lancing and they're charging, they do get that little bit of additional movement speed. But then once they're back to normal, it is equal. So at the moment, what we're seeing from B is he's distracting his opponent, making sure that lance or that Royal Knight army isn't massed. And what that now allows is B to start capitalizing on this map. And he should have seen this. Oh no, he's going to let this walk past. That would have been huge. That would have been such a big find if he'd grabbed it. But my friends, it is not going to be the case. So I do want to thank you all for tuning on in game number 1. I will be repeating that because we do keep seeing some new people joining in onto our viewer list and into chat. So I want to let you know where we're situated because unfortunately I do not have the overlays for us. So now with the sacred site number 1 going towards 3DB, he's going to be able to start racking in some of that gold income. I'm a little bit surprised he's still running that warrior monk away from that. And what's going to happen if he secures both these sacred sites, he's going to force Mixu to come for the engagement. And here we go, the engagement has started. There's so many archers here from Mixu. They're going to try and do what they can. And now the buffs from those warrior monks. Actually, the warrior monks have that capability. It didn't look like they buffed anyone. And the archers from Mixu is going to push back the line of B. We need to have a look at that. We do have the Saint's Blessing. It is available to be researched, which will increase the time that these units are buffed. And it looks like the Horse Archer was... some of them buffed? Yeah, just one of them was buffed. But the mass of Mixu is now, with the tower up and running, it's going to reveal so much of the stealth force. And you can see the rotation of these Horse Archers. It's just going to hide. He's waiting until the Horse Archers comes towards that approach of that forest. And now we're going to be seeing another engagement as Mixu is pushing on forward. He's trying to get to a close advantage before he starts letting off in case the B is not paying attention. But it's not going to be the case. Down the bottom, a little bit of an engagement, but that's not where our focus is. The focus is Mixu forcing B back to base. And now, the Horse Archers, they capitalize on a few of the overextensions, but now they lose more than what they gain. So it's not a good trade for B. But now B, oh my god, he's brought out the Springalds. The Springalds are here to play. I think a single Springald can kill an archer at the moment by the looks of it. They are doing some work, and now we're seeing B push back what seemed to have been Mixu's advantage. And now with the buff from the warrior monks, they're going to be attacking even faster. These veteran horsemen, they're forcing all these archers back under this keep. This keep's going to start doing this damage, and then we need to be careful here. B, he's starting to fight underneath the damage of the keep coming on out. The archers trying to spring in from the side. There is now some arbiters, or some arbs now available, and these are great against range damage. They can deploy their shields, get +5 armor, and go up against their opponents. There's a trebuchet also now out on the field with the keep being dropped in front of his opponent's base. He's got all these villagers here, and he might get this up. They're trying to storm this. He's losing all the villagers. He's still got 22, 20. The keep is making its way there. It's about 95% finished. He's pulled them off. He needs to keep clicking on it. He needs to get this keep up and running. 100 hit points left. He's got 2 villagers, and he gets it up and running. The keep dropped in front of his opponent's base. He's got so many villagers back here taking the fight up against these springholds. But Mixu, he lost so much for it. Is it worth it is the question. Does he have boiling oil? No, he does not. He doesn't have the help from the rest of his army to try and keep this keep up and running. He lost so many villagers. It is 96 economy for Mixu against 96. Oh, sorry. 96 actually of B. So even though he lost so much, he could afford it. He drops the keep in his opponent's base, saying, "We are here to fight, my friend, so bring it on." But these springholds, they're doing so much damage. We now have a little bit of an upgrade in terms of the health for this keep, in terms of the armor, apologies. And it's just standing here. They're fighting underneath the keep. B doesn't care about it. As more reinforcements are coming in from Mixu, trying to continue to fight underneath this keep. The trebuchet is now coming out, starting to slowly destroy his opponent's base. And now there are not enough units left from B. He's going to have to go back, set up his trebuchets, and destroy this keep. What an absolutely bonkers turn of events between these two players. And now the keep is just going to start working towards that. Whatever it can find, doing a little bit of damage. This has opened up the map more for Mixu. You can see this. He's taking control of everywhere. And he absolutely demolishes B's random outcropping of villages. I'm not too sure what they were doing there. That was questionable is the word I would use. A counter keep is now being put up from B with the trebuchets in the background, making sure that the opponent's castle will not stand for too much longer. A little bit of a fight going on the back. I think the knight's going to win this. It does indeed. So what an absolute fight coming from both these players at the moment. These archers are not destined for this world. Neither is this keep as it goes down to the final shots of the keep. And it will fall down to the weight that is of his opponent. And now the springholds are coming on in. They're starting to fight. They're luring all these units in. Oh no. There's not just... He wasn't paying attention to this. He was watching his mass up at the top of the field. So he just lost potentially 1 to 1,500 resources of these units. But what is he doing in the meanwhile? He's massing archers. He doesn't really have many springholds of his own. These villagers, though, are going to be able to secure a new selection of the map. And again, more fight for the sacred sites as they're fighting, making sure no one gets any free gold coming up here on this map. A little bit of a sneaky gold vein being taken down here on the southwestern part of the map. Making sure to clean up this hunting cabin. No more passive income gold for you, my friend. Actually, if we do have a look at the current resources, B, 3,100 gold. He is saving up for gold here because I don't think he has enough wood to be able to continually pump out as much of these siege that he wants to be able to throw in. You can see that there. He's prepared in terms of the gold, but he doesn't have the wood. He's only got 9 villages, sorry, actually on wood. So he might be seeing, you can see, yeah, you can see the rally there. He's trying to get more into wood so he can mass up his springhold army. What this now says As Mixu needs to find a way to deal with this, and he is now starting to mass his scouts. Scouts work wonders when you're trying to deal with siege because they're cheap, they're fast, and they do that torch damage. This is what you're after. But I don't know if Mixu's got the army available for this. This is starting to look like a very scary lineup that's coming on in, especially with 3 mangonels for B. If they get their shots off, this could be game over. And look at all those shots. They absolutely tear apart those scouts. And now they're still holding on. The scouts are starting to do a little bit of work here, but there's plenty of infantry up front from B protecting all the springholds, and they're slowly starting to deal with it. Unfortunately, though, the horse archers are retreating, leaving the siege weapon at the front. They're going to start burning this down. Got the arbitrator and the archers are trying to do some damage, but it's not going to be enough, as now the more mangonel shots are coming on in, burning down whatever infantry Mixu has. This keep is trying to go on up, but this keep, it is not long out for this world. A little bit of micro can kill these villagers, but the villagers, they're not dying. They're still alive. This keep could actually go on up. They're charging on in. Here we go. No, yes, no. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Some villagers are going down, but there's still some at the background. Has he selected these? More villagers are being pulled on in. The trebuchet's starting to do a lot of damage. The trebuchet's only got 52, so you might want to try and micro to get rid of that. As now the fight goes on, the burning oil burning through the infantry of B. Mixu is trying to hold on here, and he might actually do it with the help of the keep. He pushes back B for just a little bit longer. Ooh, so B has managed to give himself a little bit more time as his siege weaponry holds off. He still managed to save one of his trebuchets. He's got that key number of mangonels. But both these players, we are having a fight here in the castle stage. We have a huge army coming in for Mixu. 51 units over on gold. He must be looking at purchasing some supplies very shortly. As now the wall's looking at coming on up. If he can get this wall on up, villages will be protected because springholds cannot shoot through walls. It is one of the walls that they cannot deal with, and you can see they're trying to micro themselves. They're trying to rat over the walls at the moment. If B is not careful, he could leave those springholds into a very vulnerable position. Now there's more villagers from B this time. They've turned back around. They're going to look at dropping their own castle here. It is castle v castle. Villagers up on the wall. They don't know where they're going. Now all the archers are coming on up to start fighting. They're going to try and deal with all the villagers. They're going to be able to push that back. The villagers might come back here because they're now out of the range. But the springholds, they can fire up against these units. The mangonels are attempting to do damage. It is a 66% reduction up here on the walls. But we still see springholds dealing with those. This villager has been sacrificed to the gods, hoping to get some favor. And we got a few mangonels still walking around. At this stage, B has transitioned into an entire siege army. While you still see Mixu trying to compose himself with actual infantry to deal with this, but it's not quite working. He needs scouts. He needs some kind of units from his stables to get close and deal with all the siege weaponry that has been presented at his front door. And if we have a little bit of a breather to have a look at the rest of the map, we've got some royal knights that are going to be chasing down some more peasantry units from his opponents. We got a sacred site down here, which should give B a little bit of an idea that his opponent is trying to take control elsewhere on the map. And now we go into a little bit of a calm before the storm. Between these two players, castles being thrown up every which direction. The pop cap, 188 for Mixu. He might be getting ready to start throwing away units. His opponent B, though, is only at 170. And is starting to make the push towards the base. The siege trebuchets are going to break this wall down. They are knocking out the door. The Rus are ready to come on in. He's also found the huge transition of all these units coming down to this gold point. That is huge. It's going to shut down the gold income from Mixu. Oh no, he pulled them away. Oh no, that's unfortunate. And also, that's also a little bit unfortunate there. But now the front door, this castle is going to go down in one final shot, but it's not happening. The trebuchets, they're walking in front of all the arbs. And the arbs, they just get burnt and melted towards the siege. Again, huge fire leaving absolute death and destruction in its wake. And there we go. The castle is down. Mixu has lost that defense that he once had. Another two castles have been thrown up. Mixu's castle goes down, but B says my castle is coming on up. I'll trade you. But no, the Springholds, they are here. The French knights have come out to play. But now they're starting to turn around and start fighting all the horsemen. They need to keep chasing it down. All the shots from the mangonels are still firing in from the backgrounds with the trebuchets dealing with it on the sides. The knights are going to be able to start building or start killing all those villages as the fight is going in favor of Mixu here. The knights are holding on. They're starting to burn through, but the Springholds are doing a lot of damage. They pick up another knight. Also, the mangonels are just destroying the arbs in the background here. That is a lot of wasted gold. Another volley of those catapults are doing a lot of damage, but now they're starting to spring back in. Mixu, I believe, is starting to take this fight with B, with some more reinforcements coming on in. Can these reinforcements be enough to not lose all his siege weaponry? Somehow, these 4 mangonels are still alive. Somebody kill these people. These are MVP mangonels. They did so much damage to not only the arbs, but the royal knights of Mixu. And that gold vein has been taken. No more gold villages down here for Mixu. He lost them all. We see B has rotated into a new location for getting some wood. Because he is starting to get farmed out across the map in terms of wood. And he needs that wood if he wants to keep up all the siege he is producing. And this is starting to look a little bit more and more disastrous for Mixu at the moment. Does he have enough to hold on here? He's got the army knocking at his door. He's trying to do whatever damage he still can here to hold on. He somehow still has this sacred site. There we go. And the Royal Knights have found himself. Oh, come on, Knights, attack. Do not just move. There we go. They're on the hunt. They're on the fight. They have to make it all the way back here. Can these Knights pick off more and more villages? They're currently running. They're trying to hunt them down. He needs to start fighting. But then in the middle of the base, he's losing all his unit producing buildings. He needs to be able to pick up and build some more. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to produce anything. He won't be able to keep up with the production of his opponents. He did manage to get some villages, but at this stage of the game, that doesn't really matter too much. The economy of Mixu, 114 against 83 of B. They're still fighting. The catapults are still on the hunt. They're still here being very aggressive. But now, there's not much income left. You can start seeing the wood income has sharply declined for B. That means that he's not going to be able to produce as much seed units as he wants to be able to do anymore. This means this army here is as valuable as it will ever get. It is like the stock trades. The value of these are going up, up, and up. And if you start losing them, it's going to come crushing and tumbling down. And the income for gold for Mixu is quite low. It kind of makes you wonder, why has neither player really tried to play for some of these markets just to get a little bit of that passive gold coming in? I guess they didn't expect it would go this long. There's still a small gold vein available for Mixu. This one is really... looks like Mixu's trying to secure it. And then the last big gold vein on the map is for B. B is trying to get whatever he can get out of this before the map has been bled dry. You can see this B. He can see a lot. He sees these units coming on in. The fight of these Royal Knights. This could be one of the last fights that Mixu will put up. The Mangonels, they're not doing anything. They're still attacking buildings. He needs them to turn around. The Springolds, they can't fight because there's a wall in the way. These Knights are being mismicroed. They're going up against the world. There's a huge loss at the moment for Mixu. If he continues to fight this, they should not be fighting this tower. And now they're going to be forced on back. The Mangonels are using the walls to their advantage here, up against the opponent. And here we go. The Arbs have come to say hello, as now they start firing against the veteran horseman line of B. Because B, he doesn't have the gold. He's trying to pump out as much meat shields as possible for the rest of his army. As a little bit of a quick wall popping on up, make sure that those knights can't get down to this wood line. Now a little bit of AFK there. This map is absolutely intense, and the Imperial Age, it's been reached by Mixu, and also B is coming up. Both these players had the same idea, but the mangonel shots, oh my god! Death, destruction, lay on wait for Mixu as he loses about 10 to 15 of his Arbs. That is a huge loss that you cannot afford at this stage when the map is very short on gold. And the catapults, they want more. They're chasing them down. Mixu is being chased back to the nether regions of this map with more shots coming on in. Absolutely blowing apart his opponent. You can now see this. The walls are still trying to delay whatever they can. They'll delay the army if it chases down, but the high ground has been reached by B. Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be holding on with all he's got. I don't agree with this. Oh, actually, he's killing Springolds. These Springolds aren't doing anything. And that's the advantage of the Rus Springolds. But I think he probably almost lost more Springolds than what he actually killed. The Rus get a range advantage of Springolds. So if you're attacking idle Springolds, they won't do anything in return. Now, a little bit of eco coming across the map. Both these players, their attention is going to be continually pulled across the map. There's passive gold coming in, at least for B, and from this gold vein. There's nothing coming in at the moment, except for possibly one relic, I think, if we got 100 income per minute. There we go, that one sacred relic. And Mixu is being starved. He can't find himself any resources, as B is now moving forward. He's found himself his target, the horsemen. They are on the hunt. But they're going to quickly back off. They don't feel like it's safe. And now the slow death is upon Mixu. What can Mixu do here? At least he's getting a little bit more gold per minute. That should move up to 200 gold. But 200 gold is nothing like his opponent. It is 1/8 actually of his opponent. We're going to see the slow siege coming onto this poor castle. And just look at how many units has been killed. B, most of these units probably have been from the Mangonels, because these Mangonels have been MVP so far in this match. And now, hello, the Bombards have come to play. They're at the front door. They're breaking. They're knocking. They're kicking down that wooden door that you sought to put up to keep your opponents out of your home. And that is some siege, some Mangonels. The Mangonels are looking for the hunt. They're looking for the shot. They go up, and they only kill a villager. But it's that pressure that is now exerting onto his opponent. There's not really too much you can do here. The population cap has been reached for B. Same with Mixu. Mixu is at full pop at the moment, but he's just got no gold. He's hoping that the Springolds can hold on just a little bit longer, but he's starting to lose the Springolds. The Springolds from B, not only do they have the increased range, but they're just absolutely targeting his opponent at the moment. B, with a little bit of exceptional micro, as now they're starting to push on in. The Arbs are trying to hold on to this fight. And they're doing a great job at killing all these cavalry. But the mangonels, they're here. That spray, the hit, the death. Absolute demolishing of the opponents. My friends, I think B has started to make his way into the advantageous position of this map. I think B might has started to make his way and secured himself map number 1 here. Mixu, his population, it's going down. He's losing buildings. He's trying to produce arbs, but as soon as they spawn, they just get killed and picked off. He does still have units farming, chopping, no mining. But he's losing the bulk of his base. I think we'll be seeing a very, very close GG coming shortly. I can't see much more Mixu could do in this scenario as we watch the death and destruction that our Rust player leaves onto his opponent. Let's just take a time, a little bit of a moment to appreciate the farms across the map. Beautiful little peaceful village. Nice little hedge bush being trimmed, kept clean. But that is only map number 1, my friends. Only map number 1. Oh my god. So we've got more. We're not done. That we are on a best of 5. So we got plenty of more action coming up very shortly here in this bracket, this best of 5. Hopefully we'll see how our players are doing at the moment. I do know that, let's have a quick look. We're trying to make sure players are getting ready for their next match, so bear with me. If you are new to Age of Empires 4, there is a little bit of observer delay. Players start matches, we jump in, so it takes a little time to update. So let's just wait for our game number 2. I want to thank you all for tuning on in. I hope you are enjoying the tournament at the moment. This is the... I'm going to mess this name up, and I know I'm going to get a reprimand for this. So the Dominaticus, I hope I said that right, weekly 3 tournament. This is the grand finals. It is the best of 5. Our players looks like they're having a little bit of a break. So after that game, I'm sure they're getting a little bit of a drink of water. They're getting prepared to jump into the next one. I don't blame them. I really do not blame these 2 players.